Hello, we are going to continue doing our Chapter 5 review. We're going to start with question number 11, which is on page 246. Question 11, 246. For this one, we are just doing a regular long division. So you can, I like to rewrite it so it's a little bit bigger. You're not cramped. 5 into 6 one time, multiply, subtract, bring down. 15 and 5, that's 3 times, multiply, subtract, bring down. 5 into 5 one time, multiply, subtract, and I'm done. I even ran out of room when I did it large. And then put your decimal up here, so your answer is going to be 1 and 31 hundredths. Okay, number 12. Isabel is buying art supplies. The table shows the prices for the different items she buys. Isabel spends $2.25 on poster boards. How many boards does she buy? So what I need to do is I'm going to use this over here to look at the cost of a poster board. One poster board is 75 cents. So how many times can I put 75 cents into $2.25? So what I'm going to just be thinking about is I know that 75 cents and 75 cents equals $1.50, just from the days of counting quarters. And that would leave another group of 75 cents out. So I can add another one, and that one would equal $2.25. You could also divide 75 cents, or $2.25 divided by 75 cents, but I don't think you actually need to do that because I think it's a little bit easier just to kind of quickly think about how many groups of 75 cents are within that. So she bought 3 poster boards. Isabella spends $4.87 on paintbrushes and paint. How many of each item does she buy? Explain how you found your answer. So for this one, we need to paint brushes are 95 cents and paint is 99 cents. So when I think of $4.87, I think that this is pretty close to $5. It's a little bit under. So I know that I'm not going to have, let's say, and this is close to $1 and this is close to $1. So I'm not going to have like 10 items total because I'm only really spending under $5. So $5, around $5. So I would kind of just guess at how many of each I can have that would get me to that number. So maybe I would start with, let's say 3 jars of paint. So 3 times 99, that's going to be 27 and 27. So that's going to be 297. Okay, so 297, thinking about that, that leaves me about $2 more ish to spend. So maybe let's see if I bought 2 paintbrushes. 10. 9 times 2 is 18. 190. Let's see if I add those together. What do we get? 7, 18, 487. That was a lucky guess. And then explaining how I found my answer. So how many of each would she buy? I would need to say she bought 3 jars and 2 brushes. And I could say, I found my answer. By using, I would call it just logic and guessing to give myself a starting point. And by guessing, I mean it's an educated guess, but I'm using my logic of if I'm spending close to $5, then I need to kind of divide up about 5-ish items because each one of these is almost $1, so around 5-ish items. So then that's why I chose to multiply by 3 and 2, and luckily that added together for 487. Okay, number 13. So they want you to shade the model, and you could also solve it as well, but we actually, if we shade it, we can see pretty quickly our answer. So we're first going to shade 1 and 4/10. So we know that this whole thing will be shaded because this is 1, and then we're going to do 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is divided by 7/10. So if I'm putting 7/10, groups of 7/10, then what is going to be left, or how many groups am I going to get? So this is 1/10, 2/10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're just going to kind of do like an oval. And then does that leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Great. So that leaves exactly 7. So I have 2 groups. What I also want you to notice, if we change our dividend and our divisor by multiplying by a power of 10, because remember, if we multiply both of them by a power of 10 to make our divisor a whole number, so that would move it over here. So now we would be with 14 divided by 7. That would also equal 2. So that's a good way to think about it. Okay, number 14. Tabitha bought peppers that cost 79 cents per pound. She paid $3.95 for the peppers. How many pounds of peppers did she buy? Show your work. Okay, so for this one, what I'm going to do is taking my dividend and my divisor. I need to make my divisor a whole number. Oops, sorry guys. I need to make my divisor a whole number. And to do that, I'm going to need to move my decimal over 2 spots. 1, 2, because I want it to be right there. Now I know that multiplying by powers of 10, if I multiply it by 10, that's only going to get me here. So I need to add another 0. So that would be multiplying it by 100. And if I do that to this number, my dividend, or my divisor, I have to do it to my dividend. So now I'm going to move this over 2 spots, multiplying that by 100, my power of 10. And now my new problem that I'm going to solve is 395 divided by 79. Now this one is a little bit tricky because I know 79, nope, can't do the 3, can't do 79 into 39, can't do that. Now I need to be thinking about this whole thing. So what I'm going to kind of think about is 79 is close to 80. So I'm going to kind of think in groups of 80. How high can I go? So I'm going to think about 8 times, let's see, 8 times, let's just make a kind of like a list. 8 times 3 would be 240. 8 times 4 would be 320. Okay, I'm getting close. 8 times 5 would be, or 80 times 5 would be 400. Great. Okay, so that's going to get me pretty close. Now, I'm not actually using 80, right? This is not actually my divisor. My divisor is actually 79. So if I multiply by 5, I need to take away 5 from this number. So actually, that should work. 79 times 5. Let's see what that turns out to be. 9 times 5 is 45. 7 times 5 is 35. 39. There we go. So it is going to be 5. And you can just continue your division. So you're all good. So she bought 5 pounds of peppers. Hank has a large, 15. Hank has a large bag of trail mix that weighs 7 8/10 pounds. He uses the mix in the large bag to make bags, each containing 6/10 pound of mix. How many bags containing 6/10 pound can be made? This is what they're asking us to do. And these are our numbers. This is his total, and he's making bags that contain this amount. So that makes it sound like we are going to be dividing up our number 7 8/10 pound divided by 6/10. Same thing as our previous problem that we needed to make our divisor a whole number to make it easier. So we're going to move that over one spot by multiplying by 10, because we need to just move it. For every 0, we go to the right one spot, and we're going to do it to that. So now our problem is going to be 78. 78 divided by 6. So I can think of my multiples of 6. Well, the easiest kind of place that I always like to start is by multiplying it by 10. So 6 times 10 is 60. So I'm already need to go higher. So 11 is 66. 6 times 12 is going to be 67. 60, let's see, 6 times 12. 72. Oh, I got to do another group of 6. And I can just quickly see that that would equal 78. So it is going to be 6 groups, 7 groups. Sorry, 13. 13 groups of 6. So 13 bags of mix he can make. Number 16. Shireen walked a total of 9 52/100 miles in a walkathon. If her average speed was 2 8/10 per hour, how long did it take Shireen to complete the walk? Great. Okay, so for this one, we are going to do another example of having to make our divisor a whole number. So we want to move our divisor. Let's just put these right here. Leave us more space to solve. We need to move this over one spot. And we're going to have to do that to that as well. So our new math problem is going to be 95 2/10 divided by 28. 28 into 9, can't do that. 28 into 95. Well, that kind of makes me think of, I like groups of 25 because it makes me think of quarters. So I know that I could have 3 groups of 25 and get 75 cents. I could not have 4 groups of 25. That would be over $1. So I know that since I have more than 25, I definitely couldn't have 4 groups. So I'm going to check and see what 28 times 3 is going to give me 8 times 3 is 24. 2 times 3 is 6. Great, so that's going to give me 84. So that's the closest I can get to 95. So that's going to be 3 groups. So I'm going to do that. I'll do 84. 5 minus 4 is 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down. Now I need to see about 112. All right, well, I know 3 groups is 84. What's going to be adding another group of 28 to this? Let's see what that is. 4 plus 8 is 12. Oh, it's looking good, my ones place. 8 plus 2 is 10. Oh, great. So I would have then 4 more groups, and that would give me my 112 to zero that out. Make sure to add your decimal, and your answer is 3 4/10. Number 17. 4 numbers, A, B, and C. Choose yes or no to indicate whether a 0 must be written in the dividend to find the quotient. Okay, so the dividend is going to be this number, our first number. That's our number that we're breaking apart. And what they mean by having to write a 0 in that number is when we change our divisor by multiplying it by a power of 10 to make it a whole number, are we going to have to add a 0 to our dividend? So it'll make sense as we write it out. So if I'm going to do it a little bit bigger. Actually, this might work. So if I want to make my divisor a whole number, I'm going to have to move my decimal spot over 2 spots. And to do that, I also would have to do it over here. And that means that I would be skipping a place that doesn't exist, meaning I would have to add a 0 right there. So this one, I would definitely need to add a 0. And I'll write it a little bigger. Okay, so to make my divisor a whole number, I would need to multiply it by a power of 10. This would be by times 10. And then I could do that same thing. I would not have to add a 0 because there I'm not skipping over any positions that don't have a digit already there. So this one would be no. Same with this one. Let's see, I'll go over 1 spot to make it a whole number. And I would need to go over 1 spot on this as well. That would be a no because I'm not having to add a 0 to show that I skipped over a position. All right, number 18. Lysandra made 22 quarts of split pea soup for her restaurant. She wants to put the same amount of soup into each of 15 containers. How much soup should Lysandra put into each container? So let's see, for this one, let's see, we'll write it. We can go over here. So I have 22 divided by 15. 15 into 2, can't do that. 15 into 22, that's going to be 1 time. 15, subtract. Gonna regroup that. 12 minus 5 is going to give me 7. Okay, now I'll bring this down. 0, bring down. Now repeat 15 into 78. Well, I love groups of 15. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. So that's going to be 5 groups. Multiply. 5 times 15 is 75. 3. Now this is where we have to remember that lesson about adding zeros to our dividend. Because if we can't complete our division, we need to be able to add a 0. It's not going to change the value of our dividend. And that way we can bring that down. And now we can finish our division. So now we have 15 into 32 times. And that's going to allow us to close out our math problem. And then just make sure to add your zero above, or your decimal above it in the dividend. So she would put 1 52/100 quarts in each container. Only a few more. Number 19. Percy buys tomatoes that cost 58 cents per pound. He pays $2.03 for the tomatoes. Percy estimates he bought 4 pounds of tomatoes. Is Percy's estimate reasonable? Explain. So I kind of think of this 58 cents per pound, pretty close to 50, and this is pretty close to $2. So if he bought 4 pounds of tomatoes, 1 pound, 50 cents, 2 pounds, $1, 3 pounds, $1.50, 4 pounds, $2. So I would say yes. His estimate is reasonable because if you round your divisor to 50 cents and multiply by 4, you will be close to your dividend, which is 203. Now, once again with the estimates, if you can back it up with a problem, math problem, then you're all good. How many pounds of tomatoes did Percy actually buy? Show your work. So now they actually want to know the exact number. So $2.03 divided by 58 cents. This is going to be one of those examples of us having to make our divisor a whole number before we do our division. So we're going to move this over, and our decimal is actually going to be there now. And we're going to do that same thing, 1, 2. We did that by multiplying each our divisor and our dividend by 100. Our power of 10 was 100. So now our decimal is going to be there. So 58 into 2, nope. 58 into 20, nope. 58 into 203. Well, I think that the closest we're probably going to be able to get is going to be 3 groups without going over. Since we have that 8 attached to it, we can't do 4 because that would, just having 50 groups of, 4 groups of 50 would get us to 200, and we have that 8 in each group. So let's see what this ends up being. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17, so 174. So I think that's going to be our closest number. So 3, it's going to be 174. Subtract. Need to go over here. This is a 1, 10, 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 7 is 2. That's a 0. Okay, this is another great example. We cannot finish our division without adding a 0 right here and bringing that down. So now I have 290. How many groups? 290 divided by 58. So thinking about it that way, I know that 5 groups of 50 would be 250, so that's pretty close. I couldn't do 6 groups of 50 because that would be 300, and I don't have 300, so I'm going to see what 58 times 5 gets me. 8 times 5 is 40, 5 times 5 is 25. Look at that. And my decimal point, I moved over here, so I just need to make sure that I write it above, directly above. So he bought 3 5/10 pounds of tomatoes. All right. I would like you to skip 20. I don't like how they, I don't like that question. It's a little, I don't think it's a good question. So I'm going to have you guys skip that. And we just have 2 more. Maritza is buying a multi-pack of 3 packs of socks for $25.98. 98 cents. She will save $6.39 by buying the multi-pack instead of buying 3 individual pairs of the same socks. If each pair of sock costs the same amount, how much does each pair of sock cost when bought individually? I have a long problem. Okay. So she's buying a multi-pack of 3 socks for $25.98. She's going to save this much by buying the multi-pack instead of buying the 3 pairs by themselves. And they are asking us, if each pair of sock costs the same amount, how much does each pair cost when they are bought individually or by themselves? Well, let's find out. So she's buying them for this price, but had she not bought all 3 at the same time, she would have paid an additional $6.39. Let's see what that comes out to be. 8 plus 9 is 7. It's going to be 13. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus another one is 12. It's going to be 32.37. So for that one, what we'll then need to do is divide this by 3, because 3 pairs would be included in that cost. So 32.37 divided by 3 pairs of socks. 3 into 3, 1 time. Subtract, bring down. Now, I can't do this, so now I need to bring down another digit. And when I do that, I need to put a placeholder showing that I took another digit. So I need to write a 0 in my quotient, my answer up there. 3 into 23 would be 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. That's the closest I'll get. So 3 times 7, 21. 2, and then bring that down. And I know that that is 9. And then adding my decimal right above it. So each sock would be 1 sock costs $10.79. Last question. Eric spent $22, including sales tax, on 2 jerseys and 3 pairs of socks. The jerseys cost $6.75 each, and the total sales tax was $1.03. Fill in the table with the correct prices. So for this one, cost of sales tax, I would start there because I already know that one. So it's $1.03. The cost of each jersey is going to be $6.75. Now I just need to know how much the cost of a sock was. Oh, sorry, of each pair of socks. So what I would do is I would look at it and see that, let's see, my total was $22. Take away this sales tax from my total. So I'm just going to do 1, 10, 10, so that would be 7. 9 minus 0 is 9. 1 minus 1 is 0, 2. So that's the cost. Then I'm going to take away the total cost of the jerseys because I'm trying to eliminate and just end up with just what this is worth. So for this one, I would do 675 times my 2 that I bought. 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 6 times 2 is 12. So that's $13.50. And then I'm going to get a piece of scratch paper because I'm kind of running out of spot. Okay, so 20.97 minus 13.50 that was spent on jerseys. 9 minus 5 is 4. 747 is left over. Then I'm going to need to divide that by 3 because I bought 3 pairs of socks and they want to know how much one pair is. 3 into 7 twice. 3 times 2 is 6. Bring down. 3 into 14. Well, if I count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12. I can go 4 times. Subtract. Bring down. 3 into 27, 9 times. That gets rid of it. And now I'm at $2.49. So each pair of sock, costs $2.49. All right, guys, that is the end of Chapter 5 review. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will clarify any understanding. Tomorrow, or after you finish this, I will make the learning check available, and that will be your math for Friday. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks for watching.